Hey, sixth grade clarinets. I thought I would talk to you a little bit about going over the break today. So, we've talked a little bit about it in class. We've tried a high C over the break, and some of you did really well with it. Some of you are definitely on the right track, but it is a really tricky thing when clarinets start going over the break. So, first of all, don't beat yourself up about this. Just do your best. And if you're not understanding it, you know I'm here to help. And if it's something that you can't get until we're in person again, it's totally okay. All right? But I wanted to give you some tips and some suggestions for help as you're navigating through this. And yes, Ellery is telling us a story in the background. Okay, so if you're looking at your book, I'm on page 24. There are all of these examples called grenadilla gorilla jumps. So the gorilla jumps are just you playing a low to a high note. And the low note has the exact same fingering as the high note, except we are adding the other thumb. So normally when we play clarinet, so far we've just used this fingering right here, where the thumb goes on the circle. When we go over the break, we also push down this key right here, but we push them down together. So that's a tricky thing because your thumb essentially has to play two things at the same time. So for number 119, it has us playing a high E. And a high E has the same fingering as a low A, thumb, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but we add that extra thumb key on the back of the clarinet. So I'm going to play number 119 for you and then talk to you about some suggestions when you're practicing, okay? Here it is. Even Abby's joining in today. Abby just made an awesome sound. She's our dog. Okay, so a couple of suggestions. My suggestion is to play the low A and then have someone in your house just come by and push down the other thumb key while you're playing the low A and see if that high E will come out. You shouldn't have to change your air or your embouchure to play the high notes. It should just be a steady stream of air all the way through. It just feels a little bit different and takes some time to adjust. Second thing, clarinets. If your fingers are struggling to get this extra thumb key down, sometimes they end up not covering the right holes like normal. And then that high note's not going to come out either. So your hands really have to stay put when you kick up to this other key in the left hand. Okay? So those are a couple of suggestions for you. If you look through to the other grenadilla gorilla jumps, I'm looking at number 121. 121 has you go from a low G up to a high D just by adding the thumb. So it looks and sounds like this. Here's the low G. And then if I kick it up and add that extra key, it looks and sounds like this. Okay? If I look ahead to number 123, it has us play a low B flat, and then when we add the extra thumb key, it kicks us up to a high F, so it looks and sounds like this. Okay? And if we look ahead in your book even further, number 126 has us go from a low B, a B natural with that middle finger, And then when we add the extra thumb, it gets us up to a high F sharp. So it looks and sounds like this. And finally, from your Grenadilla gorilla jumps, number 128 has us do what ends up being our tuning note, our high C. So it has us play our low F and then using our extra thumb key to get up to the high C. Okay, so main things, as you're practicing these, don't beat yourself up over it. If you're not getting it right away, it's normal and it's okay. Have someone else push down this key for you while you're playing the lower note to see if your higher note can come out. Don't change your embouchure and your air. Keep them still, keep them the same, and make sure your air continues to be really steady, okay? And make sure, especially as you're starting to get used to these higher notes, that you work through all of the numbers in the Grenadilla gorilla jump area. So there's a bunch of examples that I didn't play all the way through because they would take a while to get through. But they would be super helpful as you're learning those high note fingerings and getting used to what it sounds and what it feels like. Okay, so if you have any questions at all, clarinets, let me know. I'm here to help. And happy practicing. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you Monday.